How much electricity do we actually use on our narrowboat? And is 600 watts of solar enough? If you're new here, this is our narrowboat and our home. There is no mains electricity plugged into the boat, so all the power that we use has to come from somewhere. At this time of the year, most of that energy usually comes from the sun. And on a nice sunny day like today, our 600 watts of solar usually produces more power than we actually need. But that's certainly not the case all year round. So is 600 watts of solar enough? Well, the answer is both yes and no. The boat batteries are completely full. Even our EcoFlow's at 100% as well. Yet there's still hours of sunshine left in the day, the potential for those panels to make more electricity, but we simply haven't got anywhere to put it. We have 600 watts of solar from the two panels, and they're controlled by this blue box. This is our MPPT solar controller. Without getting too technical, the controller, it looks at what the batteries need and it controls the power coming from the panels. Once the batteries are full, the controller goes into what is called float mode. Basically, the batteries don't need any more charging, so the system just supplies what's needed to maintain them and run whatever small loads that we've got on the boat. So even though it's a bright sunny day and we've got 600 watts of power up there, at the moment they're only being asked to produce a tiny amount of power. But I can very easily wake the system up and get those solar panels working harder for us. Just sync this so I can put it on the screen. So you can see there we're in float mode. So the inverter's on. Let's put some power on and let's see what happens to the solar when we put heavy load on it. There we go. You see we've woke those panels up now. The energy was always there, but the MPPT wasn't asking for it. Once that heavy load disappears and the batteries are where they need to be, the solar will settle back down into float mode again. Well, that's all very well, and there's only so much coffee I can drink. A popular way of using excess solar energy on a boat is to use what is known as a solar dump. A solar dump can divert excess solar energy down into the boat's hot water tank to a heating element where it can slowly heat away the water. So although your batteries are full and the solar's not being used to charge them because they're already full of electricity, you can use them to store that energy as hot water. Sadly, we haven't got that system on our boat, but it is a possibility for the future. However, we do our own kind of manual version of solar dumping. Let me show you. Over the last year, we've realised that even when the boats are full, we have still got lots of other batteries that we could charge using the solar dumping manual method. We've got a laptop, got tool batteries, got quite a few of these as well, e-bike battery, and of course, got the EcoFlow itself. Most of these larger devices, they get charged up off the 240 volt system. So let's switch the inverter on and we'll start turning these devices on one at a time and getting them charged up. So here's the solar, what's happening with it at the moment. We're in float mode, as you can see. Let's just sync it in for the camera. So you should be able to see that clearly on your screen now. So I've got the inverter switched on. There's nothing being powered from it just yet. All we're taking is 52 watts. It's just enough to maintain the battery. It's not even charging it really. So this is my laptop. Let's switch this on. There we go. Well, what's going to happen to the solar there? You see that it's the controller, it sensed a load and it's increasing the output now of the solar panels to cover it. So my laptop is just being directly charged from the sun, if you will. Now then, these are DeWalt tool batteries. I've got 4 of these and they all need charging because I'm doing some jobs next week. So let's get these plugged in and see what that does to the solar. So the laptop's in. We're at about 140 watts at the moment. That's on. And what's happening with the solar? Yeah, it's sensing an additional load now and it's taking more energy from those panels. What we've got here, this is my e-bike battery. So let's just plug it on at the wall. Green light because it's not charging. Let's plug the connector in. That'll go to red. You bloody should do. Oh, there you go. And oh yeah, look at the solar. Yeah, it's gone up again just to cover those additional loads. So that's like how I do like a manual version of solar dumping. I use my EcoFlow. The EcoFlow is 100% already, but I charge the EcoFlow on the AC mains, 3 maybe 400 watts depending what the sun's doing, and I can get charging that in no time. It's solar dumping, but rather than a water tank, I'm storing it in all my little device batteries. When we fitted the boat out, we really embraced the USB rechargeable, you know, for all your little devices. We've got loads of stuff. You've got drone, camera equipment, microphones, keyboard, you know, the kind of stuff. You've got loads of it. Little lights, headphones, head torch, all sorts of stuff, even my laptop. We have got lots of little USB sockets around the boat, but we don't tend to use them for recharging little stuff like that. I like to use the EcoFlow because everything's in one place then. You can charge loads of stuff at the same time, got plenty of sockets to go at, and on days like this when we've got plenty of solar, that can sit plugged into the 12 volt and the EcoFlow itself will just slowly recharge throughout the day. I did make a video a few months ago about the EcoFlow and how we use it and charge it efficiently. I'll link it up there for you. The best addition that we've made to our off-grid setup, without a doubt, is the battery monitor. We use the Victron battery monitor. This is the head unit for it. We don't really look at that. I don't really touch it from day to day at all, but that is a head unit that sends out the Bluetooth signal to the phone. So you get the Victron Connect app, and this is where it tells you everything that you need to know. And you can see current at the moment, we're losing nearly 3 amps of power. There is still UV light in the sky, but as you can see, it's gone rather cloudy. And the idea is not to be using the boat's batteries to charge all these little devices. We want to use the sunshine. So the sunshine's gone away. Looking at the battery monitor confirms it because it shows us that amperage is leaving the boat's batteries. So it's time to unplug a few things or just switch the inverter off until another sunny day. Perhaps I've been talking about solar power and the sun for long enough, and it seems the sun agrees with me too. Ironically, just filming a video about solar and solar power. We're in the middle of the eclipse, so the cosmos has put paid to any more solar today. It might be small, but that is definitely not a full circle anymore. Says my blueberry wheat, shredded wheat. That's the show over, isn't it? I thought it would have gone a little bit darker, you know. I remember the last eclipse in '99, it definitely went darker then. When the sun disappears again shortly, for the second time today, the sun's rays are going to have no influence on our solar panels at all. There'll be zero energy being generated, and that's going to be the perfect time to revisit the last video. So you remember the media system up here, all on 12 volts. As there's no power going into the boat, we could have a good look at what's going out. So we'll go through each one of those devices and see how much amperage it actually uses. Well, as you can see behind me, it is dark now, so there is zero solar coming through those panels. So let's just have a look at the battery app. Let's just a bit of that, get it synced in for your screen. So you can see there that we are, we're losing 4.83 amps. That's the amperage what's being taken out of the batteries at this moment. We want to get it down to a baseline, so I'm going to knock some stuff off. What I mean is we could be doing this experiment and the fridge compressor could come on or the water pump will come on and it'll just throw our reading. So I'm going to knock everything off. I need the lights on for filming, but everything else can be knocked off. number 11, that is the power feed going down to the 12-volt media system. You know, from last video, whatever it happens. Yeah, we've got the power going down to there. There's nothing on, nothing switched on up there at the moment. So you can see there, we are 2.1 amps is being taken out, and that is the lights. I mean, you're talking about milliamps for these little LEDs. It's barely anything. The monitoring system's going to use a little bit, and the monitoring system for the solar. So that, yeah, it's just 2 amps. That's all that's going out. So we'll say that 2 amps is going to be our baseline. So right, let's go over to the media center. Right, you know what this bit's for now. Yeah, it's a bit of an awkward angle. It's a narrow boat. They're very narrow, and you are perched on my sofa. And I'm in the only space I can fit, but yeah, but as long as you can see everything, it doesn't matter about that. I've got to leave room over on that side so that you can see what's going on the battery monitor. So our base was 2.1 amps. You can now see that we're using 4.7. What's happened is I've got the TV switched on now. I've got the router is switched on, and the Fire Stick is switched on. I've just started streaming a bit of Reacher, so we can make sure everything is working to its maximum, really, if you like. So we can switch them off one by one, and we'll get each individual item rather than just taking that whole figure off. We want to look at each individual. So first off, we'll go with the Fire Stick. I'm going to knock the Fire Stick off. So what we've got 4.7 amps, and the Fire Stick is off. Barely anything, is it? 200 milliamps, that's all it uses. But yeah, it's barely anything. I found that they don't, but I've noticed when you're installing apps, they get really warm. They certainly use the chip inside them then. But yeah, just for watching TV, they use barely anything. What we're looking at now, we're going to knock off the yeah, we don't need the router now, so we'll knock the router off now. So what are we on now? 4.5 still, and we'll knock the router off. 3, 2, 1, and that is a router off. It's up 35, yeah, 350 milliamps. The router, it's barely anything, is it? And TV, it's 32 inch, as I showed you last time. 3, 2, 1. Oh, sorry, let's have our base. 4.15, and the TV off. It's more or less bang on 2 amps. Computer next. So we've got the computer running now, and we've got an external hard drive connected to it as well. So the computer is going to have to provide a small amount of power. We're playing a movie, as you can see, and we're going to drop the power off the computer and see what that is using while it's powering an external hard drive as well. So base for this is what, 5.8, 5.9 thereabouts. So we'll knock the computer off, and it's off. What we're using there, about 400 milliamps, something like that, and that's powering a hard drive as well. Hey, don't forget as well, when we did the TV is also providing the power for the LED. I showed you on the last video that we tested those, and that was half an amp, 500 milliamps. So that brings the TV usage down even more, doesn't it? It's 1.5 amps. Frugal, isn't it? Right, let's set the computer up again, and this time we'll have it emulating a game. So we've got a bit of Lara Croft running around her house on the old PlayStation. I can't remember the code to get her in the bathroom and get her undressed. Anyway, right, what we got, we are drawing 5.85 amps, and we're not the computer off. 5.867, yeah, it's floating in it. 5.8-ish, and that's computer off. What's that, 300 milliamps? So when it was powering the little hard drive, the hard drive must have been taking about 100 milliamps. Interesting, isn't it? It just shows really, doesn't it, no matter which combination of the devices we're using at the time, we're hardly drawing any power really. It's, yeah, been really happy with it. So 600 watts of solar power, is that enough at this time of year? Absolutely, yeah. Most days we could generate more than we could possibly store. Of course, this is summer and winter's not far away, and once the sun barely gets above the horizon, it's a very different story. So I think we'll revisit this one later in the year when the solar isn't giving us anything at all.